Hello, hello, hello. Hi, everyone. How are you doing? Welcome to Facts and Two Cents. This is Petal. Hope you guys are having a great weekend so far. Welcome to my very, very, very late night recording of this podcast. um, yes, it's was supposed to drop early today, but crazy schedule as usual. So very, very late night. So most of you will see this very early tomorrow morning. So, anyways, welcome to Facts and Susans. Um, as you know, we are a channel that supports the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, Harry, Meghan, Archie, Baby Lily, Mama Doria, Pula Guy, the chickens, all of us here at Sussex Squad. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How are you all doing? Um, our faves are doing. We hope that, as usual, that they are hanging out under a tree in Montecito somewhere, doing whatever it is they're doing, being at peace and everything else. I know today was Princess Diana's birthday. And so very exciting. Well, not exciting. I guess that's not the right word, but today's obviously a day where we all remember and we all, she would have been, I think, 60 something years old. I don't remember exactly what age she would have been. I should have found that out, but I just realized I don't. But I just know that, July 1st is her birthday. And obviously, she gave us a wonderful Prince Harry. And, it's so funny because someone posted on Twitter and I didn't even make the connection until I saw it, that when Harry and Meghan met, they started, remember, they had these long conversations when they met. They had these texting conversations or however they were corresponding with each other. And it started on July 1st. It started on his mom's birthday. And I was just like, oh, I didn't even make that connection. And leave it to squatties to come up with these things. But it was just like, oh, right. Oh my gosh. So they had these massively long conversations and on his mom's birthday. And it's just like, oh, wow. Anyways, it just on one hand, you just see the joy that Meghan and Harry have, and knowing that just how much his mom means to both of them, and obviously to Harry, and just seeing also to just him carrying on his work with just we just talked about the last episode with his work with the Diana Awards. And to be fair, not just him and William as well, but we are just closer to Harry and he is just more fun of the two. And they were both featured on the Diana Award. Harry's more fun. It's again very funny that the Diana Award left England and came to LA and hung out with Harry in LA. And so it's just very funny and very curious. It was just like, is the Diana Award moving to LA? No, maybe not. Maybe just this one time. But who knows? It was very exciting to see it happening there. And obviously, we talked last episode about him. Sort of co-hosting a little bit with V, and how exciting that was for her and for all of them. So, and of course, they're still sharing pictures of this event, and that's Tessie, who is the CEO of the Diana Awards. She shared this picture, and you can see her there, Tessie Ojo. And that's her in the pink and the gray hair with the big top next to Harry there. So and she's very close to both William and Harry. So it's one of those things. She's never taken sides, but in a lot of ways, it's like, I don't know. She seemed to have a closer relationship with Harry, but who knows? Again, she she's in touch with both of them, so, and have a relationship with both of them, so it's really awesome. So yeah, and again, if you have not checked out the Diana Awards, it's in our community page. I posted the link there so you can watch it and see the amazing young people that Diana and her influence and her legacy is inspiring to this day. none of these kids were alive when Diana was alive, but here she is inspiring them. How many, 25 years later after her death, you know, so it's really, really awesome to see. And yeah, and to see the work that Harry is continuing to carry out, you know, in his mom's name. And according, not just his mom's name, he has his own passions as well, but a lot of it motivated by what his mom instilled in him. And it's just really, really, really awesome. So kudos to them. And again, we don't know what they did to celebrate or to honor. I don't know that I would use the word celebrate, but to honor his mom. We don't know. Whatever they did it privately, as they've been doing everything else, doing it privately. And we only see them when they want us to see them, and which is how it should be. Of course the tabloids have a whole bunch of nonsense in there about how they think and how they feel. And again, if you ever see anything about Harry and Meghan feel this or Harry and Meghan think this, it's a lie. They don't have no idea how Harry and Meghan feels or thinks, unless Harry and Meghan says it or this official spokesperson says it. So we know anything else is just a lie. Now, just complete speculation. Even if there's an element of truth in that, it's complete speculation. So yeah. So whatever they did, I'm sure it was impactful and meaningful in every single way. So yeah. What else is happening? Yes. I posted this in our community page. So after I did our last episode, the ruling from the IPSO came down. And we've been talking about this and really using articles from Byline Times, counting down the months that IPSO had not responded and have not handed down their judgment in the case against Jeremy Clarkson and the Sun for the vile article that he wrote and put in the Sun about Meghan. And so we've been waiting for the decision by the IPSO since, this happened, December 18th. We are at the end or at the beginning now of July. And so they have finally handed down their ruling. And it's, yes, on the one hand, they upheld 4 of the charges, really upheld the charges, but, really focused on one of the charge of the 4 that they upheld. I was actually, thinking they weren't going to do anything. But this is, even though they upheld that one, it's still the bare minimum. It is like the minimum of the minimum of the minimum of what the IPSO should have done as a so-called press watchdog. And the label on them is that they're useless and toothless, and that label remains because even with upholding this, and say bringing a charge as they did against sexism, which is the only count they found. I mean, I don't know how any intelligent person could read this, what Jeremy Clarkson wrote, and only came away with sexism. And it's just like, it's unbelievable. And then to get the most complained about article ever, 25,000 people, over 25,000 people, and then disregard all of the, just disregard all of that 25,000 and only taking up the cause of 2 organizations that was part of the 25,000 that complained. And then out of all the things that you get from the article, the only one that they came after Jeremy Clarkson and the Sun for is sexism. And it is utterly ridiculous. It is utterly ridiculous that this organization is what's called the press watchdog. They are doing nothing. They, again, the organizations that whose cause they upheld, like the Fawcett Society and the Wild Foundation, they are celebrating it as a victory. But for me, to celebrate that as a victory tells you how very in the basement the bar is with this. For them to celebrate this toothless decision and this really useless decision from the IPSO, it tells you how much of a nothing, and how much, I mean, talk about the basement. I mean, that's like the lowest of the lower bar, you know, and it's just like you I don't even know how you celebrate this. I don't know how you form yourself to celebrate this, but hacked off wrote a little bit about it, and so I'm going to do quite a bit of reading about this so that we get a gist of pretty much what, you know, what it says, what the article says, and the different takes on what this says. And it's just, oh my gosh, it is just really, really ridiculous that, you know, the things that the press gets away with, the things that people allow to happen is unbelievable. So I'm going to move my banner, the subscribe banner. So right now, if you haven't subscribed, at the bottom of this video, hit the subscribe button and click the notification bell so you know when we drop a video. And please like and share the video, you know, with your friends. Help us to help us to build our channel, get it larger. And so, yeah, that would be really awesome if you could do that and help us out. But anyways, we'll get back to that in a second at the end. But this is a little bit of what hacked off, and this is a news outlet, kind of like Byline Investigates and Byline Times, that are really fighting for press reform and really outing the vileness of especially the tabloid press. And so this is a little bit of what they had to say. It says, today the IPSO has announced that the complaint of sexism has been upheld. That's it. One thing that's been upheld. This is the first time the IPSO's entire history, in the IPSO's entire history, I think they've been around for 9 years. This is the first time in IPSO's entire history that it upheld a complaint of sexism against any newspaper. And its credit to the expertise and tenacity of the complaint organizations, Fawcett Society and Wild Foundation, and their members. However, the judgment does not require any further action from the Sun other than the publication of an adjudication. And so Emma Jones, who is with Hacked Off, she says, it is obvious that without the huge public outrage and the involvement of expert organizations and the Fawcett Society and Wild Foundation, this outcome would not have been achieved. Sadly, the adjudication provides a vivid reminder of the toothlessness and of the complete body, as today's finding carries no meaningful sanctions and delivers no real consequences for the Sun, for the editor who published the grossly misogynistic article, or for the columnist who wrote it. No one has been disciplined and no reforms are required, which could prevent this happening again. And again, that is why, I mean, the IPSO completely failed Meghan and women in general in failing to issue any fines, any sanctions, nothing. The Sun literally has to do nothing but print a little, you know, thing in their front page, sort of directing people where to find the IPSO's ruling. And that's it. That's all they have to do. That's it, you know. And it's just really, really, I mean, at this point, I'm feeling like you might as well have just said no, because what is the point of, you know, it's like, yeah, we upheld, you know, the sexism part of it, completely disregarding the racism, completely disregarding the threat of violence or inciting violence, completely disregarding the misogyny, completely completely disregarding the violence of Jeremy Clarkson's article. And it's just, again, I don't know how any person that has read that article and saw what was written there could only uphold sexism. And, you know, it's it's unbelievable to me. And so some more articles about this situation. Byline Times, which is different from Byline Investigates. Actually, Graham Johnson, who started Byline Investigates, used to work with Byline Times until they had a bit of a falling out, and then he decided to get his own newspaper. So, but this is Byline Times, and this is what Byline Times had to say about it. It says IPSO's the sham self-regulator operated by the big press companies has finally, after 6.5 months, made a ruling on Jeremy Clarkson's article in The Sun attacking Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, which prompted an unprecedented 25,100 complaints. Of the 4 grounds of complaints it agreed to consider IPSO, the Independent Press Standard Organization, has upheld one of discrimination on the ground of sex. It dismissed others relating to harassment, inaccuracy, and racial discrimination. The only penalty it has imposed is that the Sun must inform its readers of its findings, including a brief notice in the front page and its web homepage. Belated and minimal though it is, this outcome represents a triumph, quote unquote triumphant vindication for all those who complained, because IPSO's past record leaves no doubt that it would never have upheld such a complaint that had there not been a tidal wave of public anger behind it. This is because IPSO was designed to be ineffective, and especially so in cases of discrimination. Out of something like 50,000 discrimination complaints it has received in its 9-year existence, it had only previously upheld 2, and it has never previously detected a single instance of sexism. The article goes on to say, such an investigation, because this is talking about, if the IPSO was a legitimate organization, they would have ordered a investigation into the Sun, into the editors who read this article and allowed it to happen, an investigation into, all the different, whether it be Rebecca Brooks or all the other people who are, responsible for bringing these articles to the public. There should be a public investigation into that. There should be an investigation into Jeremy Clarkson and all, for example, all the articles he's written about Meghan. And a lot of them are very nasty, misogynistic, vile, bitter, racist. I mean, it's not the first time he's written stuff about Meghan. And so there should have been an investigation, and there is none. So Byline Times is saying such an investigation would inevitably show that columnists who write outrageous things without regard for harm they cause are part of the business model of newspapers such as The Sun. They generate lucrative online traffic in a way that news and reasoned comments rarely do. A real investigation would also take into account the Sun's long history of abusing women. Look at the case of TV presenter Caroline Flack, hounded to death by the press back in 2020, with the Sun baying the loudest. IPSO did nothing. And look at the long life of other women abused by the Sun: Princess Diana, Amy Winehouse, Claire Short, Jade Goody, Shemima Begone, Diane Abbott, Sharon Shoesmith, Sienna Miller, plus literally thousands of less known figures it has trampled under feet. And so it's like, if they did an investigation, they would see what the Sun has been doing and how this is a pattern. This is not just a one-off thing. Attacking Meghan and abusing Meghan in this way is not a one-off thing with the Sun. It is a pattern of a history of abuse against women. And because the IPSO is toothless, and because the IPSO is put there by the very tabloids, especially, that they are claiming to investigate, they will do nothing. They have offered nothing. The only thing, again, that the Sun is required to do is to put a little clip in our little indicator in the front page telling them that, page 17 is where they will find the the IPSO's ruling. That's it. That's all. No consequences for Jeremy Clarkson, no consequences for the son, no fines, no sanctions, no nothing. They have to do nothing. They can now go back on their merry way and continue their pattern of abuse. And that's why, for me, it was like, this is no justice. I don't care the fact that they just upholded that one thing. What's the point of upholding it if you're not even going to put out any sanctions? Nobody is going to face any kind of consequences, not even a day, sanction them for a day or whatever. It is nothing. And so the son will continue what it's doing, and Jeremy Clarkson will continue what's doing, and no one gets, suffers any consequences for their behavior. It is absolutely despicable, utterly despicable. The IPSO is a sham organization, as it says. Valentine says it is a disgrace what they have done. We haven't heard from the Sussexes. I'm assuming we won't. They're probably just irritated and sick of this whole thing, of the IPSO and its ruling. We have not heard anything from them. So, yeah. And probably won't. We'll probably just hear about it in court. As actually this month, I think Harry has a hearing with the son, with the court case against the son. So we will see if it comes up there. So, but again, shame on the IPSO, shame on them for not, protecting the public, especially women, against the vileness of the British tabloids. Gross. And R.S. Locke, who is a squatty and a freelance reporter, she tweeted this. She says, Jeremy Clarkson's friend, Queen Camilla, remains silent about his article, and the Sun is using Kate Middleton's endorsement of their baby ban campaign to whitewash a sexual discrimination editorial breach. The royals' contract with the media comes at a cost of their integrity. I dare to say they have no integrity. And again, Queen Camilla has been out there, claiming that, at least, you can even see this article, Camilla condemns global pandemic of violence against women. And it's so funny, Prince Harry talking about the same situation, talking about the same case, when he was speaking to, I think it was his interview with ITV. I think that was the interview with ITV, for Spare, when he actually referenced what Camilla says about, her speaking out against this pandemic of violence against women. So Prince Harry referred to that again when he was doing the interview with ITV and Tom Bradby. And so the fact that Camilla is claiming, that she is condemning it and all of that stuff, and here is her friend Jeremy Clarkson violently attacking Meghan in his article, and Camilla has said nothing. And not only that, the Sun could brag about Kate Middleton's approval because she is backing their baby bank initiative. And so they have her picture there. They can claim, well, see, we are not abusive to women. Look, Kate is on our side. She's supporting our work. Camilla, we know, is in bed with the Sun and Rupert Murdoch and all that is involved in that tabloid. Both her and Charles are very, very, very in Rupert Murdoch's bed. And now they have Kate as well. Not that she wasn't already, but now they could say, yes, look, see, Kate approved of our baby bank. So then we are not bad. We are not, we are supportive of women. Lies, absolute lies. It is a disgrace that the royal family is in bed with this vile tabloid, and again, one of the things when King Charles first came into power, I should say, or became king, one of the first people he met with was the Sun editor, and she wrote about it in the Sun newspaper, and you saw a picture of that, and I didn't bring it in, but a picture of her and Charles right after he became king. So it is just really despicable, the royal family and their silence Their silence is the thing that speaks the loudest. Their silence, and then also their approval of this vile tabloid. Um, and said vile tabloid, you know, this is what this is what their front page. The stuff about with the IPSO is supposed to be in their paper today on Saturday, and this is in the green. That is their big news about the IPSO, which they, of course, distracted everyone else with bikini model and this big headline about, protesters, these climate protesters, and all of that stuff. And way down at the bottom there in green is Jeremy Clarkson, IPSO upholds complaint. See, page 17. So you have to, if you get the Sun, flip through all the way to page 17. Like people are really gonna be, rushing over the page 17 to see what the IPSO said. This is all they have to do. This is it. This is the grand big IPSO upheld, the charges against Jeremy Clarkson and the Sun. This is their big thing in the Sun. In the Sun. I mean, the IPSO is disgraceful. This is all they're required to do. After the violence of this man's article against Meghan, and really against women all over, this is despicable. This is utterly, utterly despicable. And the Sun, even with this very minimal thing, we're still arguing and wanting to get out of all of it. They didn't even want to do this much. This is again the base minimum of any fine or anything that they could have. And not only that, what's also very important was that when they released this information, the IPSO put this out in a press release and embargoed it until Friday evening, late Friday evening, when they knew the least amount of readership would be there. The less amount of people, when you put stuff out on a Friday, is when you dump stuff. When you want to dump and hide information, in the press, you want, it's going to be in the press, but you want to dump it. You dump it on a Friday evening after the press is gone, the reporters are gone, and the least amount of readers or viewers will be seeing, eyeballs really would be on this issue. That's when you dump it, and that's exactly what the IPSO did. And the only people who benefit from that is the Sun and Jeremy Clarkson. They guaranteed by Monday, when readership, everybody's now, pulling up your paper and all of that, they guarantee that by Monday, this story is history. Nobody cares about the story by Monday. And that is why they dumped it on a Friday evening. It is disgraceful, this whole thing. And, Byline Times, and again, I'll put the link to the article, but they even mentioned it's kind of like, the only reason that they think IPSO upheld that one thing is if they completely did not do, uphold anything, if they did not, claim that one of those issues, uphold one of those issues, it really, that would have been basically the end of IPSO. Because of the volume of complaints, they had to uphold something. They had to say, okay, we're not a sham organization. Even though they, even though they upheld that one, they still did not do anything. There was, again, no consequences for the Sun and Jeremy Clarkson's actions. So by upholding that one, they kind of saved themselves for a while, that, because if they had said, he completely let him off, then everyone would be like, okay, this is a sham organization. We are not, they are not. They basically just saved themselves, is what this was about. So anyway, it is just really despicable what they did. And squatties are trying, with some squatties have done the the Daily Mail, giving the Sun the Daily Mail treatment. And so one squatty he used the Daily Mail logo and did like UK gutter press, UK media watchdog found that Jeremy Clarkson's column in The Sun against Meghan Markle violated a clause in the editor's code of practice, which relates to discrimination. The Sun has been instructed to reference the decision on its front page, and then they posted about Camilla. So the squaddies are, not as much as they did with the Daily Mail, when the Daily Mail, didn't basically put this tiny, tiny little thing when Meghan won the case against them. This is basically what the squad is doing with this Sun article. At the bottom where she's the squaddie, and I didn't get which one did this one. And then they reference his relationship with Camilla. Columnist Jeremy Clarkson met with Camilla just 8 days before his hateful Meghan Markle article went viral. Clarkson published a hateful article against Meghan days after meeting Queen Camilla and said, "Everyone who is my age thinks this way," which we can assume he probably meant Camilla as well. And Bytewit on Twitter, she did the one at the on the right. She says, "Yes, we are sexist," and promotes sexual violence against the Duchess of Sussex. IPSO fail. Self-regulation is an oxymoron, and so, I haven't seen a lot of the Sun, the squaddies version of the Sun yet. If I see any more, I will definitely post. I will definitely either post in our community page, or the next episode I will bring them in. But it's just, again, despicable. It's utterly despicable that that's all the Sun did. That's all the IPSO did. Absolutely despicable. What else is going on? Well, phone hacking is still going on. Yes, they did their closing arguments, earlier this week. The Prince Harry's lawyer and the other four claimants, lawyers, and the defense lawyers did their closing remarks. And of course, we know the judge definitely did reference and definitely bring out the fact that Piers Morgan and at least 30 other journalists from the Mirror, none of whom were in court giving testimony or answering to the charges against them. And the judge definitely called that into question. And so we're hoping, for the best. And I think the judge will give his decision in the fall. I think they said around September. So because they have to wade through mountains and mountains and mountains of evidence and testimony and all of that stuff. So we'll get a decision early autumn, at least. Some say in September. But that's not the only place that phone hacking, and the drama and the pain and the experience of phone hacking victims. It's not just in court, but as we can see here, TV presenter Denise Welch meets with the man who once hacked her phone. And Denise, I think she's also is on Loose Women as well. She's an actress and very famous in the UK. And so she has talked about this quite a few times, about being some reporters hacking her hotel room and the trauma that she experienced. She said it really ruined her life. And so she did an interview for ITV addressing this and talking about what happened to her and the trauma she has experienced since then, since the Mirror, or at least, the Mirror newspaper, they hacked her hotel room. And so here she did an interview with the guy, or at least they sat down and met face to face with the guy that hacked her, the journalist that hacked her. And it says, on Thursday, the 29th June at 6 p.m., former Sunday Mirror journalist Graham Johnson. We've talked about Graham Johnson a lot here. So it says journalist Graham Johnson went to meet Denise to talk about the impact of phone hacking and industry reform. So Graham Johnson, who, and as we mentioned, as we all know, if you've been listening to my podcast, I've done a few episodes on some of the phone hackers behind these stories, one of them being Graham Johnson. And this is part of the interview and the meeting between Denise and Graham Johnson. And, really, and I hope they would put the whole interview on YouTube. It's on ITV, so I only got a clip of it. But even from the clip, it's just the devastation that it caused Denise, and the pain that it caused her, because they not only they bugged her so they know when she came in, they knew what happened in the her room, in the hotel room. And so it just, whatever went on there, it really traumatized her. And so she is definitely been advocating as Harry and the others for press reform, and she's very supportive of the court case that Harry and others are bringing. So here she is, for the first time meeting face to face with the reporter Graham Johnson, who hacked her. It is, I mean, just the little clip you see, it is so devastating. And so, yeah. And so, as we know, Graham Johnson is the owner, and, he runs Byline Investigates, a co-owner and reporter for Byline Investigates. And this, says confession of a tabloid extremist, star investigative reporter, and self-confessed phone hacker Graham Johnson dishes dirt on the tabloid line. And this is from an article in Byline Investigates. But this is Graham Johnson. He is the co-owner of Byline Investigates. And again, we've talked about the fact that, there are no good or bad in this case, in the sense of there are good people and there are bad people, and the good people are the ones testifying against the bad people, the tabloids, be it the Mirror or the Sun, the Daily Mail. No, all of these people, especially if they come from the background, as working with reporters, or as a reporter or editor, whatever, none of these people are good. They're all crooks. They're all con artists that you literally should be in jail. Graham Johnson was he was convicted. He was sentenced to community service. But he is a convicted phone hacker, and he's been trying to turn his life around, as he says. And so a big step again was, definitely meeting and talking to Denise about her experience with what he did to her. He and the others who bugged her, what they did to her. And so yeah, again, we all have our history, and we have a couple of ways to go. We can either continue down the road of destruction and destroying other people's lives, or we can change and face our past and face the horror of our past and the guilt and all of that stuff, and change. And Graham Johnson said that's what he wants to do. So he agreed to meet with Denise and talk about the impact of his work on her life. And again, I'm not downing Graham Johnson. Again, we all human beings, and we all deserve a second chance at, having about a second chance of living the life that we know we need to live, in terms of how we are with others. And so, we all deserve an opportunity to change and become the better person that we know we could be. So again, I'm not dissing him or anything, but I'm pointing all this out so that when you read these articles, whether it be at Byline Investigates or what, who are the people that are writing these articles. So yeah. Anyways, moving on, Denise says a little bit more about coming out and talking about what happened to her. Says, today I met with the journalist who in 2001 hacked me on the instruction of the editors of the Mirror Group newspapers. He also met two private investigators placing a listening device in my hotel bedroom. These behaviors ruined lives. And she thanked Becca Barry, and we'll get to Becca Barry in a second. But Becca Barry is the ITV reporter who was in the courtroom for the whole of the courtroom with Prince Harry against and the others against the Mirror. But one of the interesting thing at the bottom that Denise found out when she posted about the conversation she had with Graham Smith, and she talked a little bit about, what it felt like to be hacked. She posted this at the bottom. She says, everything I see on television or on social results in online press coverage, as with most of us in telly, but radio silence about the primetime interview I did with on ITV Evening News about the pain of being hacked. The pain of being hacked caused me. Funny that. Yeah, all of a sudden she's writing about, the interview about phone hacking, and all of a sudden no one in the press is picking up this story. No one is sharing it, and then she later wrote, says, still not one comment. 24 hours later, everyone is staying away from this story. Nobody is reporting about the phone hacking because a lot of them are guilty of phone hacking, so they're all trying to hide this story. And she's like, funny that, yeah, haha, funny indeed. None of these so-called news outlets other than ITV, who put her story out there, is have picked up and shared this story. Unbelievable. The press, they are so desperate to hide their phone hacking. Back to Rebecca Barry. She's the ITV journalist from inside the courtroom, and this is what she said about the closing argument. These are her tweets. She said about the closing argument with Prince Harry and the groups against the Mirror News Group. And so Rebecca Barry says, Prince Harry's barrister David Sherborne says the fact that lawyers for the Mirror newspapers only called 3 journalists to give evidence during the 7-week trial leaves fatal holes in their case. She also goes on to say these are summaries of her, what's been going on, or at least her part, at least how she saw it. Previously, the judge questioned the absence of 29 key witnesses, including former Mirror editor Piers Morgan. Today, David Sherborne said it was not so much that Hamlet without the prince, but Hamlet without the entire royal court of Denmark. She goes on to say the lawyers for the Mirror News Group paper said it's impossible not to have enormous sympathy for the Duke of Sussex in view of the extraordinary degree of media intrusions he has been subject to throughout his life due to his position in society. And she goes on to say, this is from the lawyers, the Mirror News Group lawyer says, the Duke of Sussex has failed to identify any evidence of voicemail interception against him, nor any other evidence of unlawful information gathering in respect to his private information, save for one occasion which is admitted by MGN. Lawyers for Mirror News Group today says the true purpose of Prince Harry, this is what the lawyers for the Mirror says, the true purpose of his litigation appears not to be to achieve compensation for all unlawful activity by MGN, but instead it's part of the Duke of Sussex's campaign to reform the British press. And so, yeah, they are claiming that Harry has no evidence, he has no evidence that any unlawful gathering, was done against them. But this is seen more because truthfully, there's Harry doesn't want their money, he doesn't want any of those things, but his goal is press reform, and that's true. That is Harry's goal. That is his goal. So they're claiming that, this is not about the case. It's really about reforming the press that Harry is giving a testimony. So whatever the outcome, we'll wait until we hear it. So hopefully, sooner rather than later. And then this month, I don't know what date, the hearing for the Sun will take place. I don't know the date of it. As soon as I have the date, I will share it. What else is happening away from all that drama? Well, Twitter seems to be on its last legs because today they started limiting how much we can use it, basically how much tweets we can read, so they are doing a whole big thing, what it's like for verified accounts. They can view their, they can tweet and be viewing and sharing and tweeting about 60,000 times. That's their their for their verified members. For non-members like myself, it's like 6,000 times or something like that. So if after 6,000 times you're still using Twitter, they will basically kick you off. And so apparently Elon Musk tweeted or shared that it was some kind of technical glitch or whatever. But what we're finding out later in the day is it wasn't because of any of those. Is because Google, who owns, who the platform is with, is Elon Musk has not paid his bill. And there are several lawsuits against Elon Musk about lack of payment in for whatever he had people do, lack of payment. And one of the reasons, some of the features of Twitter is not working is because Elon Musk has not paid his bill to Google. So basically, Twitter is being shut down. Slowly but surely it's going away. And so, but if you're on Twitter and you don't have a home, we are over Unspoutable. This is my account, Unspoutable. I can't speak anymore. Again, this is very late night. You know what happens in late night? Your mouth doesn't work as it normally should. But yes, this is my my profile on Twitter on the left, and so definitely come on over. It's safe. There are no trolls or anything like that over on over on Spoutable. So come on over and join us over there. So yes, and finally, this bit of good news, good sad news that it had to take place, but good in terms of this is how a monarchy should be. This is how a monarchy should, be able to acknowledge the wrongs of the past and also apologize for it and make restitutions and make reparations for what the atrocities that was done to them. So King Willem of the Netherlands, and we remember him at the Invictus Games having a grand old time with Prince Harry. And so this drop today says, Omid writes, and it says, on the 60th anniversary of the abolition of slavery in the Netherlands, King Willem-Alexander has given a speech apologizing for the country's historical involvement in slavery and the effects it still has today. On this day, and this is what he says, on this day we remember the Dutch history of slavery. I ask forgiveness for this crime against humanity, he says. As your king and as your member of government, I make this apology myself, and I feel the weight of the words on my heart and soul. The monarch added that racism in Dutch society is still a major problem and accepts that many won't like to the monarch added that racism in the Dutch society is still a major problem and accept that many won't like to see him making such an apology. And yeah, white supremacy, they are not into apologizing no matter what it is they've done. We've talked about it numerous times. They would rather gaslight you, and then turn it on you and make it all your fault. But you would never see King Charles do this. You would never ever see him be honestly sit there and say, I acknowledge what our country did and I am sorry, and it just what the monarchy, if you're just thinking what the UK monarchy would be like if they had someone with the integrity of King Willem, someone who, in spite of he knows what would be opposition, he still, as the king, stand up and made his apology. And, as a king, made his, and for me, as a king, he just made his standing higher, compared to that of King Charles, who's like a sham king, and it's just like, this is how a king is supposed to behave. This is how a king is supposed to apologize. This is how they're supposed to address this. And then, reparations So I don't know how far along there are with the reparations. I know that had conducted like a 3-year study into the Dutch or the Netherlands role in slavery. So we look forward to see what those results would be. But in the meantime, King Willem is doing what he needs to do, and shame on the British royals for not doing in kind. So yeah. And yeah, that's it. That's all I got, guys. Thank you so much for watching the video. Hope it all made sense. I'm like 3 a.m. now. It's like 3 a.m. now. I am still up making a podcast. But anyway, hopefully it was helpful. Hopefully it was clear. But thank you so much to Lydia Church, Nelly, Karen M, Cookies and Cream, and Black Queen. I failed to mention Black Queen in the last few episodes as a moderator. I apologize, Black Queen. So thank you so much for joining our group of awesome moderators, making our chat safe. So anyway, thank you, ladies, for just really, gosh, you save and protect our channel so much, and it's just I words cannot begin to say how much I appreciate what you do. So thank you so much. Thank you also to our Gold Star supporters who support in the chat, whether it's PayPal, Cash App, or merchandise. And well, in the chat, they support by donating or getting a super thanks or super stickers or super chat. And also people support via PayPal and Cash App as well. So thank you all so much for your financial support of the channel. I appreciate it so much. Our 2 cents crew who support monthly, amazing. Thank you. So anyways, that's it again, guys. I guess until I see you next time. Yeah, until I see you guys next time. Hopefully, I don't know what's going. Again, we don't know what's going on with the Sussexes. What we will be hearing next. Maybe the next thing we see or hear would most likely be a ad for Heart of Invictus, a promo for the documentary, or Polo coming up in August. I mean, those are the only 2 that I know on that we really should be getting word from. But other than that, the Sussexes are quiet, and we just appreciate them staying there, doing whatever it is they're doing in every way. And maybe too, Meghan is working with WME, so it's very interesting. We're very interesting to see what comes of that, and what different projects they work on with together. So so looking forward to Heart of Invictus and Polo and whatever it is that Meghan is doing. So anyway, guys, that's it. Thank you so much for watching, and I love you all. Have a fantastic rest of your weekend, and I will catch you later. Bye.